Welcome back. Today we're diving straight into a really fascinating submission. It's a detailed outline for a video. It's called The Rise of Interplanetary Civilization.
Very ambitious title. I like it.
It is, and it covers the tech, the economics, the whole societal shift. It's a huge project, and I think we can help sharpen that core narrative to really maximize the impact.
Absolutely.
So let's start with that. I think the overall messaging could be, much stronger if it unifies the core tension right at the start.
The tension between necessity and aspiration.
Exactly. As it's written, it asks this great question. Is space colonization a luxury or a necessity? But then the hook, it sort of dilutes itself.
How so?
Well, it tries to balance both the existential risks, climate change, resource depletion.
The scary stuff.
Right, with the excitement of, thriving across the cosmos. And it just creates this slightly dissonant narrative right from the get-go.
I completely agree. That's a critical observation because when you're tackling a topic this big, literally the future of humanity.
Yeah.
Those first few moments are where you establish that emotional contract with the viewer.
And if you're trying to sell both urgency and this unbounded possibility at the same time,
you risk the audience not really committing to either feeling.
It feels muddled.
It does. I think the material would just hit so much harder if it committed to one primary driver. Either survival.
Space as a necessity.
Right, or that expansive growth, positioning it as an aspiration. And then you can use the other idea as this powerful secondary counterpoint.
I agree with that. Because once an audience commits emotionally, you can take them anywhere. They'll follow you through all the deep technical stuff later.
Exactly. But right now, it feels like the opening is trying to talk to two different people.
The doomsayers and the dreamers.
And it just lessens the power for both. So, okay, let's say we go with necessity. The whole story changes, right?
It does.
You could lead really strongly with the crisis. Focus the opening on Earth's limitations. The climate risks, resource depletion, all the existential threats.
That immediately positions the video as like a crucial blueprint for survival.
It makes space travel an undeniable necessity, urgent, not optional. And then all the technical sections that follow, building habitats, whatever, they're framed as essential defensive moves.
And what's great about that is you can still weave in the aspiration.
Oh, absolutely.
But it serves a new purpose. It becomes the hope that justifies this monumental effort instead of the reason for the effort itself.
A much cleaner narrative hierarchy. Or you could go the other way.
The infinite horizon angle.
Which might be more in line with the title. Yeah, focus entirely on the scale of opportunity. Lead with the excitement of thriving across the cosmos.
The trillion-dollar space economy?
That's it. Frame the whole thing not as running away from problems, but as seizing this unprecedented expansion. You commit to the optimism.
I like that. And if aspiration is the main driver, then Earth's problems, they get redefined.
How do you mean?
They're not the primary cause anymore. They become the limiting factor that we have to overcome to sustain that infinite growth.
I see. So it's a subtle shift in tone.
But it completely reframes why the viewer should care. It makes all the complexity, the habitats, the new economies, feel justified by the sheer scale of the prize.
So to make that concrete, if you go with necessity, maybe you start with a stat about rising sea levels.
And then pivot hard. This is not a film about escape, but about evolution.
Nice. And if you choose aspiration, you start with the economic potential of asteroid mining.
And then you say, but to achieve this, we have to overcome the limits of a single planet.
Exactly. Just commit. Pick one high-stakes angle in those first few minutes. Use the other one to add texture, not confusion.
That focus is just so essential for viewer retention. Okay, let's pivot from that narrative focus to the structure.
The flow of the piece.
Yeah, the material does a really strong job on the technical side. It covers everything from Artemis to asteroid mining, all under building our new homes.
The technical depth is definitely a strength. It shows a real command of the material.
It does. However, there needs to be a much clearer, more deliberate bridge.
A narrative bridge.
Yes, a narrative bridge connecting those technical breakthroughs to the philosophical and governance challenges that come after.
I know exactly the moment you're talking about.
It's a pretty jarring shift, right? You go from the deep tech of building our new homes straight into the coming societal shift.
Which is all governance, laws, ethics, what it means to be human.
And the video just risks losing all its momentum. It's like jumping genres too quickly. You go from engineering to philosophy with no connector.
It's a classic editorial challenge, you know? Merging hard science with these softer concepts.
It is.
It feels like the material has been compartmentalized. Like, first we build the house, then we write the laws for the house.
But that's not how it works in reality.
Not at all. The moment you decide to say 3D print a habitat on the moon, that is the very moment the legal discussion has to begin. They're linked.
The current structure almost implies that you solve all the tech hurdles and then the social issues pop up.
Right. We need to implement some kind of structural element or a transitional frame that explicitly connects the how, the physical architecture, to the why.
The why we need governance?
Exactly. We have to show that the second the engineering works, the legal vacuum becomes the next immediate crisis.
That's a fantastic distinction. So the crisis isn't just running out of air. It's the legal void that success creates.
Precisely.
So what does that look like, that transition? It can't be a whole new section. That would kill the pace.
No, it needs to be short, a sharp intellectual pressure point.
Okay.
So instead of just listing technologies, you frame the achievements like, say, establishing the Lunar Gateway as something that inherently creates a legal vacuum.
You pose the hard questions right then and there.
You do. You pause the narration after you describe the gateway and you ask, okay, if this habitat is financed by 3 nations and staffed by a crew from 8, who has jurisdiction?
Where does the legal liability actually lie?
And that friction, that tension, it drives the audience toward the societal section naturally, because the tech itself has created a problem that Earth laws can't solve.
So the engineering success actually becomes the narrative pressure point. I love that.
It makes the governance discussion feel earned. It feels urgent, not like some academic sidebar.
And it solves that genre shift problem perfectly.
And just to offer another way to do it, you could integrate those questions even earlier.
Into the technical outline itself.
Yes, like when you're talking about asteroid mining. That's a potential trillion-dollar industry.
Right.
So instead of waiting until the societal shift section, you add a subpoint right there under the mining tech that asks, who holds the rights to these resources?
So you link the hardware to the hard philosophical questions right there on the technical ground.
You're showing the legal framework growing organically out of the engineering challenge.
You're weaving the tapestry instead of sewing 2 pieces of cloth together.
Exactly.
It reinforces the core idea. Interplanetary civilization isn't just a tech problem. It's an institutional one, and they have to be solved at the same time.
Okay, that brings us to the conclusion, our infinite horizon. The vision here is massive. We're talking interstellar travel, humanity's destiny.
The material has built up to a really big finish.
It has. The audience has just absorbed all this huge technical and philosophical complexity. They're engaged.
They're leaning in.
They are. But for a topic titled Our Infinite Horizon, that conclusion, it needs a much more specific, more profound call to action. Let me guess? It's a like and subscribe?
It's basically a generic request to subscribe, which, you know, it just drastically undercuts the ambitious scope of everything that came before.
So you've brought them all the way to the edge of the cosmos.
And then you ask them to click a bell icon. The line, how you can be part of the future, just lacks any real substance right now.
I get why people do it. A simple CTA is clean, it's measurable, but in this case, it's a total failure of alignment.
It is.
You've spent, 15, 20 minutes talking about new laws, a new economy, new definitions of being human. And if the final ask is passive,
You just let the viewer disconnect, emotionally and intellectually.
you do. You're treating this audience who just stuck with you through all this complexity like any other passive consumer. You want them to carry the debate forward.
Exactly. So we need to leverage the content that was just discussed, the governance, the ethics.
And provide them with tangible entry points into this future.
Intellectual or civic entry points that go way beyond just watching or subscribing. They need to feel like active participants.
Absolutely. We have to elevate that call to action dramatically. One way to do that is to connect it directly to the economic piece.
How so?
Well, instead of just general participation, suggest specific, accessible ways the audience can track or influence the emerging space economy.
So maybe advising them to track emerging policy debates about off-world laws?
Yes, like discussions happening at the UN about resource treaties or who's liable for orbital debris.
That turns a passive viewer into an informed, active stakeholder.
It's an intellectual investment, not just a click. and that deepens their loyalty to the material so much more. You're turning the end of the video into a launch pad, not a landing strip.
I like that framing. What about leveraging the more philosophical points? That felt like a real climax in the middle of the outline.
Yeah, that's another great option. You could give them a specific, challenging thought prompt.
Based on the ethical issues.
Right. Challenge the viewer to go research the current state of the Outer Space Treaty, which is decades out of date, and think about how the definition of human or national territory might have to evolve.
You're encouraging continued engagement with the substance of the video.
You're positioning the video not as a final word, but as the essential foundation for their own exploration.
You're asking them to become ambassadors for the idea.
Which is a far more powerful ask than smash that like button.
This has been, an incredibly robust piece of work. The potential is huge, the outline is strong, the research is clearly there.
Definitely. These are high-level editorial moves just to maximize the impact.
Right. So, to summarize the 3 key opportunities for the listener.
First, unify that narrative focus and do it early. Commit to either necessity or aspiration as your primary driver. Use the other to sharpen the hook.
Don't dilute that emotional commitment in the intro. Second, enhance the structural flow.
Build that bridge. Intentionally connect the technical construction of new worlds with the immediate societal and legal crises they create.
Make that transition feel earned and urgent, not abrupt.
And finally, deepen that call to action. The conclusion has to match the grandeur of the infinite horizon.
Give viewers specific civic or intellectual avenues for involvement that go beyond just subscribing.
Turn them into active, informed participants in this historic shift.
These adjustments will really ensure the entire experience is cohesive and high impact from the title all the way to the final frame.
I think so too.
We really encourage you to refine the material using these suggestions and, submit it back to us for another round of feedback down the line. We look forward to seeing it.